Hello, Lori Kuchta. Thanks for leaving a comment on a recent video I made about ground leases. And I was talking about ground leases, and you chimed in and you said something to the effect of ground leases are just freaking stupid, and the person that promotes them is stupid. They don't work unless you're doing mobile homes or mobile home parks. And I love the enthusiasm of the comment, and I thought it'd be a great parlay into talking about more ground leases. So I want to use Aldi as an example. So I've got my Aldi logo up here covering up the ugly truck, and a construction site in the background that's an Aldi that's being built in an ad that I found. And I'm using Aldi because Aldi does a lot of ground leases. I'm using them as an example. And you said there's nobody doing ground leases that make money for the people with the land, is basically what you're saying. So let's jump into it. I pulled up Crexy in the background here. So Crexy is a commercial real estate exchange website and all kinds of commercial real estate. And there's a search on here, and you can just type in whatever brand. And I typed in Aldi, and this is a whole bunch of Aldi locations that are for sale. And I looked through these, and I believe they're all ground leases. Every single one of them is a ground lease. I didn't have to change any settings. So Aldi's doing lots of ground leases. Aldi's a big company. They're like the third largest grocery store in the country by location, if I have my data right. And they're doing ground leases. They're the one renting the property from somebody like me. So if I have the land, or if you have the land, or if we have the land and we're working together, and we go pitch it to Aldi, we could do one of these deals. You don't like ground leases, but I love them. I love the idea. And so these, we're going to break apart one of these. I went through this top row and I was searching them up. I was looking for one that was just really easy to see how much they paid for the land, because lots of times they buy the land, pitch it to Aldi, and I wanted to use a simple one as an example. So this blue one down here from Northmark seemed to hit the target pretty well. It's Port St. Lucie, Florida. It's Aldi ground lease. Let's jump into this one. So I pulled up the ad, and I changed the picture here, like they've got just their logo. So I did it over to Street View, and it jumps right into that building we were looking at. And so this is the thing is under construction. It says the lease, it starts, or the occupancy starts in the end of last summer. So they should be moved in there now. It's a 20-year lease, and a lot of these leases Aldi are signing are 20-year leases. Then they've got a whole bunch of options. This particular one has 6 5-year options. So Aldi's going to be here forever, right? They lock their prices in. We've got a annual rent that they pay. It's right behind my head here. If I get out of the way, is $173,000 NOI. I guess it's over my shoulder. Yeah. So $173,000 a year. Now they pay the taxes, they pay the insurance, they pay for the employees, they pay for the product, they do the sales, they take care of the building, they make sure the building's up to par and the roof works and the plumbing and electricity and the plants don't die and the ground, and they remove snow, and well, maybe not snow in Florida, but the ones that are up north, they remove the snow. They take care of it. They do everything, and they send you $173,000 a year in rent. I mean, I don't know about you, but that would be pretty nice to me to get that kind of rent. Now, what do you need? What do you how much you have to pay for a property like this to pull that deal off? And that's what I want to get into. So I pulled up Property Radars, a different database that I use, and I pulled up transactions, and I found the last transaction on here was 101,175,000. So almost $1.2 million they paid for this property. And that's a lot of money, but they bought it in May of 2022, and then the thing was supposed to be built by the end of the summer in 23. So they probably did a contract with the landowner, said, hey, I'd like to buy your land. I'll give you a deposit, and I want some due diligence time, and if I figure it out, I'll pay you for it. And so they probably went to Aldi and said, hey, Aldi, this would be a great spot to build an Aldi. There's a bunch of good stuff around here, like what I've been studying for a lot of these Aldis is the Home Depot, the Walmart, the Target, the Lowe's, the Publix. This is a Florida. This would be Publix. For up north, it'd be a Kroger or a different grocery store. the main grocery store, how much foot traffic is coming and going, how much sales are they doing. And when you have a cluster of a couple of these names together, statistically, it points to a great place for an Aldi to be. Aldi has to have distribution within a certain kind of area for another Aldi to go. So I've been mapping that out. I've been mapping out the distribution. I've been mapping out these clusters of good neighbors that Aldi likes to be in with, and like across the street from or next to or right in that same retail corridor. And I've been mapping out those points, those marketplaces where Aldi has distribution, but they're not there already, because I would like to scoop up the properties that fit Aldi. Aldi is using, I've seen them on 2 acres, but sometimes they're 3 acres. This one particular, I think, is a 3 acre property. They don't see it really fast, but I believe it's a 3 acre property. So lots of, 2.98 acres. So a 3 acre property, you can get that kind of size. You get something bigger, I could sell pieces off and do other deals. Something smaller, go do it to somebody else instead of Aldi. But I've been trying to get control of those kinds of properties to deliver them to Aldi and do this deal. And so you struck a chord with me by putting that comment in there and saying nobody does these deals. Okay, so let's go back to this previous screen. So we've got this example, and if anybody is interested in the properties I'm finding to do this kind of deal, my name and number and comments are in the description below. I'd love to partner up with you on, my data, my deals, your money, to knock some more of these over, because we can contract them up, get Aldi to say yes, and then put up the money. It's pretty low risk shot, but I need somebody to help me carry it from the contracts happening to when we can market it, right? So if you've got that kind of money or part of that kind of money, please give me a call. I would love to work with you on these kinds of deals. So back to the point here. The point is, this one, they're asking $4.3 million and they paid 1.175. So let's call it 1.2, and they're asking 4 point something for it. Now, it's been on the market. We got the numbers up here, 250 days. It's been on the market 250 days, which means it's overpriced. It hasn't sold yet. If they priced it right, it would have gotten snapped up right away. But what do they care? They're collecting rent while they wait for the price, the dreamy price, right? So that's another way to play it. They're asking a 4 cap on this. 4 cap is like a 4% yield. That rent, that 173 that they're paying in rent, over the price that they're asking, is a 4% yield. That's a 4 cap in commercial real estate. It's how we talk about it. Now, I looked up the most recent Aldi that I could find that traded is this Aldi in Jefferson, Georgia. And then I didn't spend a lot of time looking. This was just like a quick search, right? So this one just traded in November of 23. There's probably some that have traded since then, but the interest rates haven't really changed since then. And so the cap rates off of this one probably make more sense what's going on in today's markets. So over my shoulder here, it says the cap rates that, it goes off the page a little bit, but it closed at, they were asking $1,790,000 and it closed at $1,965,000. So it went for, it sold for more than they were asking on it, because they priced it right and they had a bidding war and just a couple people outbid each other. And so the cap rate was $475 that it sold for. And so if we go back to this example that we have on the screen of how much they could get. So if we had let's pull up a calculator. Let's do this. So 173,000, 173, I messed that up, 173, 123. So $173,000 a year in rent. And we divide that by 0.0475. So we're taking the cap and we're expanding the price based on the rent up to what kind of price this would be that we're trying to figure out for price. So we've got the cap rate and the rent, and we're figuring out by price. So we take, I'll just run that again. We take the rent and we divide by 0.0 what that cap rate is. And then we have a price that this thing trades for. That's how commercial real estate works, right? So $3.6 million So $3.6 million and some change. If we take $3.6 million and we subtract that price that they just paid for the property, then we're going to find out how much they made off of this thing or how much value they created. They haven't taken it to the bank yet, but how much value they created is 1,175,000, 1, 2, 3. So $1,175,000. So the difference between what they bought it for and what they could probably sell it for in today's market is 2.4 something. That's like doubling your money. That's like putting up $1 and getting $3 back. It's more than double your money. It's two times, yeah, like putting up $1 and getting $3 back is basically what they're doing on this. And if we did the contracts right, we could do the data, find the property that fits these criteria. Like I'm doing my databases with all the best neighbors because I looked at all the other Aldis that are happening and I just see these awesome neighbors next door and the size of properties and the zoning. I'm good at figuring out the zoning and the size and the access and the traffic and the numbers and pinpointing those properties and making offers, give them a deposit and lock up the property for a bit of time to go tell Aldi, hey, this is a good property for you, or whatever the other brands. Aldi is just one of the brands I'm figuring this out for. Let's do a deal. And they say, yeah, I love it. Let's go for this property. Then we close, we buy the property and we run with it when we know the buy price and by doing this kind of math, the sell price, the kinds of rent we can pull off of doing a ground lease that's there. And that's how you can make a lot of money between by turning land into a ground lease with a big national tenant like Aldi. And I would love to do some of those deals. If you're interested in partnering up with me on those kinds of deals, I love the data side. I can do the data side. I can do all the paperwork and make it dance. I need the passive passive money partner to join me along the way to knock more of these deals over. So back to the comment with Lori. There's an example of trailer park lots doing ground leases where a lot of money could be made. And so thanks for the comment. Thanks for replying. Thanks for watching my videos. Everybody else out there that's watching videos, I'm gonna try to make more videos, try to explain and teach along the way. If you have questions, comments, examples, good, bad, whatever, throw it in the comments below and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. See you in the next one.